Hey friends, welcome to the tutorial video for the Stoplight project. Here is a quick picture of the finished product which we're going to be working towards in our time together. And also a picture of the materials that you're going to have to help make it happen. You may have seen in that photo an icon of some white foam board. You're going to have 3 strips of that, one for the base of your stoplight, one for the tower, and one for the horizontal portion. Our first step together is going to be to glue those together in the right way so we have a nice firm foundation. And real quick, because there's not too much surface area on the foam board, that's why we bring in these wooden cubes to give it something to latch onto. For the horizontal portion, you're going to have to poke holes in it at some point to stick the lights through. We find it much easier to poke those holes before actually gluing it to the pole. And then you are ready to attach it. Give it a little bit of glue on the bottom and press it against the top of that pole. It wouldn't hurt to hold it there for a little bit or give it some reinforcements just because it's not the strongest area on the stoplight. Next up is attaching the LED lights. Remember, what's cool about these is one of the wires coming out of them is positive and one of them is negative. Go ahead and stick them through those 3 holes you just made, and feel free to add a little dab of hot glue to make sure they're nice and snug in there. Here's about what they should be looking like from the front, but more importantly, here's what they should be looking like from the back. You want to make sure you can tell which wire is the longer one, the positive, and which one is the shorter one, the negative, from the back side. Are you all ready for what we think is the trickiest part of this project? It's time to get out that copper tape. What we want you to do is bend the short wires of LEDs on the back end in the same direction, preferably in the downward direction. And then peel off that tape. What we're trying to do is to wrap that tape around all 3 of those short wires. And remember, it's got to be a nice and tight fit and keep in contact with those wires so the electrons stay flowing through. So feel free to grab a friend for this step, as the extra hands may help. And once you start to get it, start to really pinch it along those wires so they make sure they're not going anywhere. It by no means has to be perfect, but here is sort of what we're looking for. If it looks anything like this, you're in good shape. Now we're going to head back down to the base and get our battery in order. In case you didn't know, all batteries have a positive and a negative side, and that's really important here. The exact location doesn't really matter, but the first thing we want to do is take one of our clips, doesn't matter the color, and clip it onto the corner of our base. Next, we're going to make a little pile of hot glue next to that clip and drop the battery down and make sure that part of the negative side, which is the bumpy bottom side of the battery, comes in contact with that metal clip. Then go ahead and attach the other end of that very first wire to that strip of copper tape near the top of the stoplight. Finally, the last step is to grab 3 more of those alligator clip wires. And with one end of their clips, go ahead and attach them to the long wires coming out of the LEDs. So we don't want to keep you too long here. The next video is the one where we will show you how to actually test it and what things mean. But it is technically ready, so you can try taking the metal ends of the opposite side of the wire and attaching it to the battery and seeing if the light will turn on.